Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a pre-fight show for the Ultimate Fighter Season 24 finale. It's Team Benavidez versus Team Cejudo, and yeah, it's a pre-fight show, the main card, and this season of Ultimate Fighter was pretty ecstatic. I had really low expectations for this season, and yeah, because this season was all about the flyweights, I was sort of like, it's going to be whatever. But the fights were all really, really good. I was really shocked. I know I said in the past the flyweight division is probably my least favorite division in the whole UFC. And I find a lot of the fighters boring, except for, Demetrious Johnson and, yeah, Tim Elliot and, some of the top guys in flyweight I find fun and entertaining, but then the rest is like hit and miss for me. But yeah, this season it really, really was one of the best seasons in terms of fight performances, and the concept was kind of interesting. And even though I still feel like Demetrious Johnson's going to beat everyone at some point, it still was enjoyable. So let's do a quick rundown of this main card, shall we, and with my predictions. So the main event is for the UFC Flyweight title. Demetrious Johnson going for a 9th title defense, going up against Tim Elliot, who won this season in the Ultimate Fighter. And yeah, this season Ultimate Fighter consisted of all these flyweight champions from all these different smaller organizations. And Tim Elliot, UFC veteran, got cut by the UFC, went to Titan FC, won the flyweight title, defended it there. And was able to land on the show, and then went through the tournament on the show and won the show, and now he's getting a shot at Demetrious Johnson. I think Tim Elliott can be taken down. I think he's a talented fighter, and I think it's just not going to be his night against Demetrious Johnson. But Tim Elliott will go on to have a career in the UFC, I think. I think he loses this fight, but then after this, he goes on to still be in the UFC and win some fights and make some money and get some win bonuses and maybe some performance bonuses. So I'm picking Demetrious Johnson submission round 2. I think Demetrious Johnson will look for the takedowns, get him, and then he'll work for submission round 1. And I think Tim Elliott will defend well. And then I think round 2, Demetrious Johnson will get him at an odd angle, get a takedown. And Tim Elliott will defend well still, but Demetrious Johnson will be able to figure it out and somehow transition to a good spot and work in a submission. So I think round 2 submission, Demetrious Johnson gets his 9th title defense here. So by 2nd round submission. So then, yeah, the co-main event is also in the flyweight division. We have Joseph Benavidez versus Henry Cejudo, top 10 flyweights in UFC. And I'm picking Benavidez by KO round 1. I think Cejudo tries to use that wrestling and clinch up with him. And I think that Joseph Benavidez just works in the clinch, breaks away, and he works in some good clinch strikes. And as he's working the clinch strikes, he wears out Cejudo and then eventually knocks him out. And so Joseph Benavidez wins 1st round knockout. Then in the welterweight division, we have Jake Ellenberger versus Jorge Masvidal. Jake Ellenberger is a great fighter, well-versed. I hope he wins. He's one of my favorite fighters. However, I think Jorge Masvidal is a total package, and he's durable, and he can take a beating, and he can avoid the wrestling of Jake Ellenberger. And so I think Masvidal wins due to strikes on points, and I don't see this fight being a super exciting fight, but I think this fight makes sense. Due to the rankings and where everyone's at and where these guys are at their career. So Jorge Masvidal gets it done decision unanimous. Then in the light heavyweight division we have Ion Cutelaba versus Jared Cannonier. And yeah, I'm picking Cutelaba round 1 knockout. I think he has good knockout power. Then in the women's bantamweight division, we have Sarah McMahon versus Alexa Davis, 2 girls that have fought Ronda Rousey and lost in devastating fashion. I think that Alexis Davis has great, obviously, black belt level jiu-jitsu and judo, um, and just overall ground game. However, Sarah McMahon is known to lay and pray, and she relies heavily on her wrestling, and I think she gets the takedowns here, and I think she tries to get ground and pound, she tries to get submissions. However, Alexis Davis is good at defending submissions off her back for the most part, and I think that she'll avoid getting too much strikes landed, and Sarah McMahon tends to struggle, I've noticed, with the ground and pound. Once she gets the takedown, she just sort of lays on top, and I'm not knocking, any skills, just that's what I see. And so I see Sarah McMahon winning by decision here. Unanimous. I think she gets takedowns, and then she does her best, but it just, given the talent that Alexa Davis has and the talent that Sarah McMahon has, and the styles and techniques used, that's just the way it pans out. No fighter looks to go in there and have a boring match. I just think this is one of those fights, that's the way it pans out. So I got Sarah McMahon winning unanimous decision. Then in the flyweight division, we have Brandon Moreno versus Ryan Benoit. Yeah, I'm picking Brandon Moreno here. I mean, if you look at his last performance, how can you doubt the guy? Submission round 1. I think Ryan Benoit is a tough, durable veteran in the UFC and MMA, but Brandon Moreno is that young, hungry guy, full of energy, full of power in his fists, and he gets it done. I think he rocks Ryan Benoit and then looks to get a submission, and so he gets it late in first round. Brandon Moreno, submission round 1. So there you have it. There's my pre-fight show for Tough Ultimate Fighter 24 finale. This is going to be a really good finale, I think. I mean, it's a star-studded card. You got Gray Maynard on the Fox Sports 1 prelims, and then you got Josh Stansberry, two-time Ultimate Fighter vet, on the Fight Pass prelims. That's going to be a really fun fight to watch, going up against Evan Clark, another UFC veteran. So that wraps up this show, and stay tuned in the coming days for my post-fight show of this card, and until then, see ya.